Imagine solving London's overcrowded airport problem by building a futuristic mega airport in the middle of a river. That was the bold vision for the Thames Estuary Airport, a £76 billion proposal that was supposed to revolutionize British aviation. Instead, it ended up sinking figuratively, not literally, thanks to a cocktail of fog, birds, bombs, and good old-fashioned bureaucracy. But let's rewind and unpack how this high-flying dream slowly crash-landed. Why London needed a new airport? No, really. To understand the urgency behind this sky-high ambition, we first need to take a peek at the current state of air travel in the UK's capital. London isn't just busy. It's aviation's version of the M25 during rush hour. With 6 international airports already in action, including Heathrow, Gatwick, Stansted, Luton, London City, and Southend, you'd think that's plenty. But not quite. Heathrow, the crown jewel of British aviation, has been bursting at the seams for years. With just 2 runways and almost no wiggle room for expansion, it's been operating at full capacity since the early 2000s. Bad weather? Delay city. Extra flights? Not happening. By 2050, passenger demand across all London airports is expected to double to 400 million annually. That's enough people to fill Wembley Stadium over 4,000 times. If no action is taken, queues will stretch from check-in to Scotland, ticket prices will rise faster than a Ryanair landing, and long-haul flights may start to feel like a luxury for the rich. In short, something had to give. Heathrow's expansion woos. One logical solution? Add a 3rd runway to Heathrow. Sounds simple enough until you consider the human and environmental cost. The proposed £22 billion expansion would require bulldozing nearly 4,000 homes, rerouting rivers, and even shoving part of the M25 motorway into a tunnel. Plus, Heathrow is already the UK's largest single source of carbon emissions. So, naturally, environmentalists and not-in-my-backyard crusaders weren't thrilled. Though the plan was greenlit by the government, back in 2018, legal battles, activist outcries, and a global pandemic have slowed it down to a snail's pace. As of 2025, construction has yet to begin. Meanwhile, Heathrow continues to groan under its own weight, having broken records with over 84 million passengers last year alone. Enter Boris Johnson. While Heathrow was tangled in red tape and legal jargon, Boris Johnson, then Mayor of London, popped up with a plan so audacious it sounded like something out of a sci-fi novel. His pitch? Forget trying to patch up Heathrow's crumbling seams and build something bold, modern, and completely new right in the Thames Estuary. That's right, an airport in the water. And not just any airport. This was to be a shimmering, state-of-the-art mega-hub with 6 runways, designed to handle up to 150 million passengers annually. To put that into perspective, it would outclass Heathrow like a Tesla next to a tricycle. Its location on the Isle of Grain in Kent meant all flight paths would soar over water, giving Londoners sweet, uninterrupted silence for once. With Boris at the helm of this aerial utopia, the project quickly earned the nickname Boris Island, equal parts admiration and meme. But officially it went by the far grander name, London Britannia Airport. The goal wasn't just to solve London's runway shortage, it was to catapult Britain back to the top of global aviation, with a flashy symbol of ambition rising from the waves. The vision: floating futurism meets rail efficiency. Unlike traditional airports, this one would be car-free. No taxi lines or parking nightmares here. Passengers would check in at purpose-built terminals dotted across London's railway stations, St Pancras, Ebbsfleet, and even the Royal Docks. From there, high-speed rail would whisk them directly to the airport. And get this, operations at the site would run 24/7 thanks to the absence of noise pollution over populated areas. Up to 4 planes could take off or land at once, an air traffic controller's dream or nightmare, depending on the day. To top it off, the project would completely redevelop the current Heathrow site, transforming it into a sprawling urban borough with up to 300,000 new homes. All this, according to supporters, would position Britain as the global gateway of Europe, perfectly timed, just as Paris, Amsterdam, and Frankfurt ramp up their own airport expansions. The World War II ship full of bombs. But of course, this wouldn't be Britain if the whole thing went off without a proper dose of wartime leftovers. Among the many curveballs the Thames Estuary airport faced, one stood out like a flashing red warning light. A sunken World War II ship still stuffed with enough explosives to make Michael Bay blush. Say hello to the SS Richard Montgomery, a U.S. Liberty ship that sank just off the Kent coast in 1944 while carrying over 1,400 tons of munitions, more than 10,000 bombs to be exact. For the last 80 years, it's been sitting ominously under shallow waters, gently rusting and reminding everyone why do not disturb signs exist. Moving it could trigger a massive underwater blast, but leaving it there means planning anything nearby, like, say, an airport becomes a logistical and moral nightmare. Experts have warned that even a small structural collapse could set off a chain reaction that would devastate the surrounding area, including coastal towns. No one has figured out a safe way to disarm it yet. While other countries worry about flight delays, Britain's got to plan around a floating barnacle-covered powder keg. Environmental mayhem. Airports and birds have a long-standing feud, and the Thames Estuary is basically an avian party zone. Thousands of migratory birds pass through the region, and while the planners propose creating nature reserves elsewhere, you can't exactly train birds to avoid jet engines. A single bird strike can shut down an engine or worse. Then came the fog. The Met Office pointed out that the Thames Estuary gets 3 times more fog than Heathrow, which already has plenty. Fog and planes go together about as well as toddlers, and fine china disaster is always lurking. Oh, and let's not forget the giant liquefied natural gas terminal located just a stone's throw from the proposed runway site. Nothing says welcome to Britain like parking jumbo jets next to highly flammable fuel tanks. Crowded skies, legal tangles, and corporate confusion. Air traffic over London is already a tangled mess. Adding another mega hub into the mix could overwhelm the system. The head of National Air Traffic Services even went on record to say it would be the worst place imaginable for a new airport. Strong words. Businesses weren't thrilled either. Many global companies have established headquarters near Heathrow, counting on it as their gateway to the world. If the UK's main airport suddenly moves to Kent, companies would face tough choices: either relocate, suffer logistical chaos, or jump ship to European hubs like Schiphol or Charles de Gaulle. Not quite the global competitiveness booster the planners were aiming for. So what happened? In the end, Boris Island never got past the concept phase. Despite the catchy name, ambitious goals, and flashy renders, the tidal wave of logistical nightmares, environmental risks, and economic uncertainties sank the project. In 2014, the Airports Commission officially shut the idea down, warning of huge risks and spiraling costs far beyond the initial estimate. Now all attention is back on Heathrow's third runway. Despite fierce resistance, including Boris Johnson's infamous pledge to lie down in front of the bulldozers, it seems more likely than ever that expansion will happen. The government aims to make a final decision by the end of 2025. Still, one can't help but wonder what could have been. A shiny new airport gliding across the Thames like a high-tech swan. Instead, we've got Heathrow still straining, still noisy, and still waiting for that elusive third runway. Would you have flown from Boris Island or dodged those foggy skies and flocks of birds? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this wild ride through Britain's most ambitious airport that never was, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more epic stories of forgotten megaprojects and aviation madness. Hit that bell so you never miss a takeoff. Thanks for flying with us. We'll see you on the next runway.